Hello. Hello, police. Yeah, what's the problem, sir? We just drove down our farm track. Yeah. Go and feed our pheasants. We come across a Range Rover with 3 people in it. Yeah. It appears that they're dead. I don't know what's happening. Blood in the motor all over them.
And welcome back to a new video on the Essex Boys case. As always, if you are enjoying the content, please do give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in the Essex Boys case, or simply true crime in general, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing my own theory regarding the shooting of Tucker, Tate and Rolfe. Was this as we've been told all along, and as put forward by the prosecution in court along with Darren Nichols, that the gunman approached from the rear of the vehicle? The rear driver's side door was open and the vast majority of shots originated from that area. I'm going to share with you some information which will probably cast some doubt on that being a possibility.
Hello. Hello, police. Yeah, what's the problem, sir? We just drove down our farm track. Yeah. Go and feed our pheasants. We come across a Range Rover with 3 people in it. Yeah. It appears that they're dead. I don't know what's happening. Blood in the motor all over them.
And welcome back to a new video on the Essex Boys case. As always, if you are enjoying the content, please do give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in the Essex Boys case, or simply true crime in general, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Now, to start this video, we really have to go back to the prosecution's case in terms of Michael Steele and Jack Wombs. Really, in this video, we're going to be focusing on Michael Steele, the 4th passenger in the Range Rover. So we have Craig Rolfe, who is driving, Tony Tucker in the front passenger seat, and Pat Tate in the rear. The other rear passenger, according to the prosecution, was Michael Steele. As the Range Rover turns off of Main Road down Workhouse Lane, it reaches the locked 5-bar gate. Now, it's at this point that the Range Rover pulls up to this locked 5-bar gate and the rear offside door opens. So that's the door behind the driver. That rear door opens and Michael Steele exits the vehicle, most likely with the idea or suggestion of opening that locked 5-bar gate. As Michael Steele steps out of the vehicle, Jack Wombs approaches from nearby bushes and the shooting begins. Now, the first problem that I have with this are the tyre tracks which are found at the crime scene. And you can see in the photograph in front of you here that the tyre tracks actually extend past where the Range Rover is located. What I mean by that is that at some point in time the Range Rover was further forward before going backwards to its stationary position that you see in front of you. Is that because the gate needed to be open? Is it because someone said, can you just drop it back a little bit? We don't know. What's quite interesting though is Dr. Lanas, the pathologist, one of the people who actually attended the crime scene, she said that the tyre tracks actually extended beyond the locked 5-bar gate, but obviously the pictures and photographs that we have are, I guess, inconclusive. Now, Dr. Paula Lanas was the pathologist. She was responsible for ascertaining the time of death for Tucker, Tate and Rolfe, and as many of you will know, that never happened. Now, she's come under a lot of pressure over the years since these murders for some of her work on autopsies, and I guess really what I'm trying to get at here is, can we really say with any great deal of certainty that she is observing these tread patterns, these tyre tracks in the same way that we are? We're looking to match up these tread patterns. We're looking for the same tyre patterns extending on beyond the locked 5-bar gate. Or is she simply observing a set of tyre tracks going beyond the locked 5-bar gate? Obviously, there's a massive difference. The problem that we have is that we don't have clear enough photographs beyond that locked 5-bar gate to say either way. Now, the reason I say that is that it does go against the prosecution's version of events ever so slightly, in that the Range Rover literally pulls up, the back door opens, and the shooting starts almost instantaneously. But clearly here the Range Rover has gone a little bit too far forward. Maybe someone has said to them, can you drop it back a bit? We need to open the gate, something along those lines. And we just really don't know how long that Range Rover was there for. Interestingly, the defence put forward the theory that it had been there for some time due to the carbon deposits found in the puddle under the exhaust pipe. But the main point of interest, which I am starting to disagree on, is how this shooting originated. That the back door of the Range Rover opened up and the vast majority of the shots came from that open rear driver's side door. Looking at the shotgun cartridge positions and also the wounds to the individuals, I actually believe now that it was Craig Rolfe who was shot first from the open driver's door. Now this may sound a little bit bizarre, but just bear with me. Now, the supposed official version of events as told in countless books, movies, TV shows, documentaries regarding this case and put forward by the supposed getaway driver Darren Nichols on the evening of December the 6th, is that the rear door behind the driver, the rear offside door, is opened by a fourth occupant. That illuminates the inside of the Range Rover. The gunman approaches, puts the gun against the headrest of the driver's seat and pulls the trigger, shooting the driver, Craig Rolfe, behind the head or behind the ear and rendering him dead immediately. From there, it's most likely Tucker who was shot next, followed by Tate in the abdomen. Then really, I guess it's open to interpretation. Let's just say, for instance, the driver walks around the front of the vehicle, takes another shot at Tate from distance, which skims the top of Tate's head. He then walks closer and shoots him at point blank range. He then does the same to Tucker. And then we're led to believe that he walks around the front of the vehicle again, opens the driver's door and shoots Craig Rolfe square in the side of the face. Now it's this shot here that I have quite a lot of difficulty in believing. Everything up to this point has been clinical. It's been clean. Apart from the one shot which skims the top of Tate's head, everything has been done for a particular reason, even down to the shot behind the ear. If you research that, the shot behind the ear, why that is done in most circumstances in terms of whether it be killing livestock or killing a human being, that shot behind the ear shuts down the central nervous system, stops the breathing, stops any sudden movement or I guess noise or whatever you want to call it. It shuts the body down dead. What would be the need to then shoot Craig Rolfe square in the side of the face after you had shot him behind the ear, behind the head, killing him instantly? What is the need for that extra shot? Also a point worthy of mention, at least in my opinion, is that this kill shot, the shot behind the ear, this is the shot which was administered last to Tucker and Tate, and I believe also last to Craig Rolfe. It's clear here that Tucker was shot in the jaw, or shot across the face. Tate was shot in the abdomen, shot at towards the head from some sort of distance which skimmed the top of Tate's head, and then the shot behind the ear was done afterwards. Then the shot to Tucker's head afterwards. It's all afterwards. The final shot is the kill shot behind the ear. Is it unreasonable to suggest that Craig Rolfe was first shot in the side of the face, then straight across the face of Tucker? Then the gun tracks to Tate, who is trying to make a feeble escape out of the back to the near side of the vehicle. He is then shot in the abdomen. Craig Rolfe, I believe, receives the shot behind the ear as the final shot. They don't want to touch the bodies. They don't want to touch the bodies. They don't want to move the head of Craig Rolfe in order to access that area behind the ear. So the gun is pushed against the headrest and the trigger is pulled. For anyone who may doubt that that's even a possibility, how do we explain the cartridge locations? That they're all forward of what would have been that rear open door. If the rear door is open on the driver's side, the gunman has leaned in to shoot Rolfe by pushing the barrel of the gun against the headrest and pulling the trigger, followed by Tucker and Tate. How have the cartridges ended up the other side of that open door? To me, everything points to the fact that the vast majority of these shots were actually fired from the driver's door, the front of the vehicle, not the rear. Now, if that is the case, and bearing in mind this is just my own thoughts and opinions on the murder, I'm not saying this is categorical fact by any stretch of the imagination, but if this is the case, that the vast majority of the shots were fired from the open driver's door, this actually takes away the necessity for the fourth passenger. And what I mean by that is that we are told that the fourth passenger exits the rear of the car to open the locked 5-bar gate, leaving the door open and the car illuminated inside. This was the plan, to leave that door open so that the gunman could approach and the shots were fired. But if we take that out of the equation for one moment, let's just say it didn't start like that. The actual shooting did not originate from the rear of the vehicle. It actually takes away this necessity for there to be someone in the Range Rover travelling down the lane with them. Now, one aspect I think we can all agree on without a shadow of a doubt is that these men were caught by surprise. They were caught completely off guard. Now, how could that have happened? If Craig Rolfe's hands are on the steering wheel, if the vehicle is in drive, the foot's on the brake, etc., etc. Bearing in mind, we don't really know the position of Craig Rolfe's foot because the bodies moved around in transit before they were back at the police pound. So really, we can't take anything for granted when it comes to the photographs which were taken after this Range Rover was moved. But what I'm looking at here, what I'm seeing in my own mind, is that if the Range Rover pulls up, they're there to meet someone that they trust, someone that they know. He opens Rolfe's door to say, can you back it back a bit? You're a bit too close to the gate. The door is open at that point. Rolfe is distracted. His hands are still on the steering wheel whilst the gunman approaches from the side. So it would still require at least 2 people to accomplish this, I would imagine, unless someone was incredibly quick and they literally sneaked up, opened the door, bang, bang, bang. But I just don't see that happening. I think there's at least 2 people involved here. Now, regarding the cartridges that you see in front of you there, I know many people will say, oh, well, obviously they picked them up and dropped them somewhere else, to confuse the crime scene. Just ask yourself, or if you can put in the comment section below, what you believe exactly that would have achieved. Because when I look at the following diagram here, when I look at where those cartridges were actually found, everything points to me, at least, that the shooting originated from the open driver's door. And the fact that Rolfe is shot across the face, supposedly last, doesn't make any logical sense to me. Now, if, as we are led to believe, the shooting did in fact originate from the rear of the vehicle, that the vast majority, not just the fact that the shooting originates from the rear of the vehicle, if the vast majority of the shots are fired from the rear of the vehicle, as we've been led to believe, then why are there not more cartridges inside the vehicle? You can see one on that diagram there. Clearly that's the one where Rolfe was shot. In my opinion, if we had had more shots fired from that position, the rear open door, then surely the cartridges would have been found inside the vehicle, particularly as he would have had to have stretched in a little bit further or moved the gun a little bit further across inside the vehicle to have shot Tucker. Yet all we have here is one cartridge found inside that vehicle, which is exactly where I would expect to find it if that rear door was in fact open. Now, when I say one cartridge in terms of where I'd expect to have found it from that shot against the rear of the headrest of Rolfe. Obviously, we also have that other one which is found in the front of the vehicle, but clearly that's one of the shots from that open driver's door. So to summarise, and I believe in a video such as this, it is important to summarise exactly what I'm saying here. The first thing that points, in my opinion, to the fact that this shooting originated from the open driver's door is the fact that Craig Rolfe is supposedly shot last across the side of the face. A shot which is completely unnecessary. This man is already dead, and it didn't serve any purpose at all to shoot him across the side of the face after shooting him once already behind the ear. What also tips me off to it being a possibility that they were shot from the open driver's door is the fact that the kill shot, the shot which was administered last to Tucker and Tate, is behind the ear. And quite simply, I believe that is the same for Craig Rolfe. I believe he was originally shot across the face, Tucker across the face, and the final shot to Craig Rolfe was the putting the gun against the headrest and pulling the trigger, simply because they didn't want to touch the body, move the head. They couldn't access behind the ear without shooting through that headrest. Secondly, and most likely most importantly, are the cartridge positions. If the vast amount of shots originates from that rear driver side open door at the rear, how do we explain the cartridges being found the other side of that open door? How do we explain that the vast amount of shots appear to have been fired from the open driver's door at the front of the vehicle, not the back? How did those cartridges get there if the vast amount of shots were fired from that open rear door? What I find interesting about this potential theory here is the fact that it completely opens up possibilities as to how this crime was actually committed. We've been told for too long that the first shot was from the rear of the vehicle, the gun pushed up against the headrest, when we actually step back and look at what the crime scene is telling us here, in my mind at least, it's painting a completely different picture. It takes away the necessity for there to be someone travelling down in the Range Rover. It could also open up the possibility that they were actually meeting someone down the lane on the evening of December the 6th. If you would like to learn more about the Range Rover murders, then click on the video in front of you now. You will also see the Essex Boys playlist, which has all of the videos concerning this case in one convenient folder. Many thanks for joining me for this video. I look forward to seeing you all again for the next one. Take care. Cheers.